What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Valley Podcast. What was that? If anybody doesn't mind, go ahead and let us know in the chat. What did I just watch on a Friday night? That was a game 2 games ago versus the Raptors. Evan, Coach Evan, everybody. You talked about how it was just a must win against the Raptors. I called it an easy win, a must win. We didn't really even bring up that the Detroit Pistons was a must easy win because they're that bad. It didn't seem like something that needed to be said.
100%.
What was that tonight, man, in your opinion?
I have a lot of frustrating thoughts. First, I want to be very, very clear that whenever an Arizona team plays a Detroit team, personally, I lived in Michigan for 7-8 years. 90% of my family is in Michigan. I work there. I have a lot of connections, a lot of good friends. So anytime we play a Michigan team, it is very personal to me, and my emotions go absolutely all over the place because in high school, I was always made fun of for wearing Phoenix Suns jerseys and stuff. It was ridiculous. It was crazy up there. People are nuts about different sports and hate on you. But going to the game, Pistons beating the Suns in overtime. I don't even know what that was, man. I don't even know how to explain what we saw, especially coming after that second quarter burst that we had going up 23.
It felt like a game at that point that there was no way in hell we could lose. Like we could even let them come back and we would still it was like we were a cat toying with a mouse, like toying with a dead mouse. And then it just turned on us for one reason. They went to a 2-3 zone at about 4 or so minutes left in the second quarter. And it was like our team had never seen a 2-3 zone in their life.
They changed it up at different times. It was more a 1-2-2 zone. Our fan Kazar is saying, "What's going on? What's going on, man? Let's chat on here. Go ahead and write some questions that you have." But it was more of a 1-2-2 zone, and then they went into a 2-3 zone at times. I don't know if you're familiar with the amoeba defense. It almost looked like a little bit of amoeba defense, especially.
So are you talking like a 2-3 zone that's like a man zone where you're treating?
No, they had 1-2-2. They had a guy up top that was generally Derrick Rose. He was at the top of the key. Then you had 2 guys kind of out on the wings, and then 2 postmen who played on the blocks and also would go out to the 3-point line. But sometimes the wing would jump out to the corner and the guy that was on that block would jump out to the wing, which is an amoeba defense. So they kind of changed some things up on the zone. But either way, man, losing that game to that team in this situation, and we're going to Indiana tomorrow, I'm shocked they couldn't figure it out for 2 or 3 extra possessions. I'm shocked.
It almost feels like, I don't know, man, like an NFL game where you have a team who's just a top seed and they drop to somebody who is just at like any given Sunday situation.
Oh,
that's what I feel like tonight was. But this isn't football. When you've got the horses that we have compared, they look like at times they were putting out a D-League team, especially when their second unit came in.
Especially with Josh Jackson. Shout out Josh Jackson on that floor.
Yeah, I want to talk about him later. I definitely do because I was.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, I was excited. You know, I've always had a soft spot for him until he did that thing where he didn't show up to the fans' meet and greet. That was just messed up, man. And so I've turned my back on him since then. But I don't want him to be a complete bust. I'd like for Josh Jackson to make it work at some point and get it together. But I'm glad it wasn't tonight. He did have 27 points 2 nights ago. Did you know that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So he is getting his life together, which is good because he had a little bit of an alcohol problem. Hopefully that's
getting his kid high in the car or something like that, or he got his infant high at one time. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's saying they exploited our defense those last few plays.
Man, absolutely. The last fourth quarter, at the end of the fourth quarter, they were doing so many switches up top where the defense didn't even know. You can see it on the last play. Chris Paul didn't even know that he was supposed to switch off on his man. And that's what got the drive all the way down where Ayton had to sag and help, dish to Miles Plumlee for a dunk right on Ayton's face, man. They completely exploited our defense at the very end. It just inexplicable communication turnovers. That was bad communication all the way around on the Phoenix Suns, man. They're supposed to be practicing defense. They're doing this. They're doing that on defense. We're going to be number one. That's all we're focused on. And they just didn't even know what they were doing and what their assignments were. Basic things. Obviously, we're not in the huddle. We don't know, right? But what did you see the last few possessions?
I saw a gassed Suns team who didn't think that they were going to have to go to OT and damn sure didn't have anything left in overtime. I mean, they ran out. Was that a 8-point jump they got on us? It was no, they might 93-101 after being 93 all going into overtime, and you could just tell right then and there we didn't have anything left. I think we overlooked them. You know?
I mean, I don't know if we overlooked them, but it looked like what the Clippers did to us, right? Letting it off the gas, obviously. But I think it goes down deeper. And we're going to mention, I have 3 key points that we definitely need to talk about. But one of them being just the starters are not meshing. They 100% are not meshing together for whatever reason. And that was the key. We were down before the second unit got in. Second unit came in and gave us that huge lead. And ever since then, we weren't able to turn it on, which is what the Clippers had problem doing. Once we went on that run, they were having issues turning it back on, and we couldn't buy a bucket. We couldn't buy a three-pointer. 52 three-pointers versus 38 other field goals in the game, layups, two-pointers, that kind of thing. So, and the fact Langston Galloway didn't play again was incredible.
Yeah, he had 17 minutes, and then how do you not play him down the stretch? How does he not come in at all in overtime?
He wanted this game. He was just with Detroit last year. He wanted this game. This was his revenge game, man.
Yeah, I hate calling out Monty because I love Monty so much. But you got to be fair. I mean, you're a coach. You're the coach. How do you explain that away?
Well, one thing that I really had a problem with was one of the coach quotes that Monty said after the game was having Jay Crowder on Blake Griffin was not fair, or I forget the wording, was not good for Jay or did not put Jay in a good position. And my thought was like, what the hell are you doing starting him then? If that's not a good position for him or a good place for him to be is guarding Blake Griffin, why did you start him? Why didn't you start with Saric? I mean, I understand you want to get things going, but if you're going to quote that, like, I want to know the reasons why. And then when they got into the zone, I'm just amazed at the lack of passing, particularly from Ayton, and we'll get into that too. But you put a guy into the middle, man, and have him pass out quickly. I guess they did say it against the Kings. When the Kings went zone, we were passing the ball more fluid, and I just didn't see that tonight. Maybe they were just completely caught off guard, and maybe they got out coached tonight.
Yeah, great pass by Jay Crowder here.
At that point, I thought we were going to win.
Yeah, I thought at all these points, even at the beginning of overtime, I'm like, okay, well, now we're going to put our feet on the gas.
I didn't think so.
And go. But at the beginning of that overtime, when they jumped out like that, I'm like, oh my God, they're just going to let them have it.
No, absolutely. They're getting wide open. They're getting wide open threes. I don't want to say they didn't come out hungry, but like they didn't come out hungry, but the starter unit hasn't come out hungry all season. They haven't closed any game with a fierce 8, 9, 10-0 run, you know? They haven't started any game by doing that. They've had runs here or there, but they're just not showing that. And it hurts, man. We're Suns fans. We've been through a lot, especially here in the Valley. We just
this 3 right here. I go, we got it. This is that.
When Cam finally, that was like the first one.
Yeah.
Here's the last play right there. Oh man! Any way you can rewind that? Do you have that ability over there?
Yep.
Yeah, go back a little bit. and give it a pause so I can draw up what happened here. A little bit more.
Further or back more?
Further. Yeah, we'll let it play here. It's gonna come after the 3. You'll want to pause it. So on the last play, just watch what happens on the switch. Just watch what happens with the on-ball defense and the switch, and watch Chris Paul. And I think it's Jay Crowder. Chris Paul had no idea where he was going to go, man. The communication was terrible. Like, that just seems so elementary to me. High school, maybe.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Right there. Chris Paul had no idea he was going to be switching there. He had no idea.
You're right.
He had no idea. And here comes Jay Crowder. Watch. Whoa!
Yeah. And by then it's too late. Ayton goes to help. His guy slides underneath him.
And Kiz brought up a good thing on here, man. He's completely right. Our defensive assignments were not there at all, and they got exploited in last, I'd really say 4 to 6, maybe 8 minutes of that game. And yeah, he made another good point. Mikal being cold all night. He's got that hitch back, man. I think Mikal might be on a little downward trend right now the next few games. He got that hitch back in his shot, and now it's in his head.
He was so hot. I think he was just playing out of his effing mind, and now he's coming back a little bit down to earth.
Yeah, no one's going to shoot 50% from 3 all year.
Yeah. So you're going to have a couple games where you just don't have it. Let's just hope that doesn't become a trend. You know, I'm really hopeful that I don't think it's going to become a trend, but I know the hitch you're talking about. So I feel like it never left. I don't feel like he's ever gotten rid of the hitch. I always see his hitch.
There was quite a few times where I just saw him grab the ball and he's going straight up with it and just releasing at the highest point. And now it's just the ball's coming all the way down to his knees again.
See, Cam can't handle. What is that?
So are these going to be the types of players we're going to struggle against? Siakam, there's a Paul George or a Kawhi when there's 2 of those types of guys. I mean, obviously we're going to have trouble with Jeremiah Grant. Donovan Mitchell was no problem. Rudy Gobert was no problem. I guess Brandon Ingram would fall into that mold too, but Mikal was able to shut him down probably due to his skinniness too, right?
Kids is saying bad defensive game for Mikal. Also, it was. Mikal did not have a good game. He barely shows up in the stats.
So was this a team like, oh, we should win this game is whatever, or did we get outplayed? Or
we got outplayed. In my opinion, from what I saw, we got outplayed. This play right here makes no sense. A 2 does nothing for you. And this is Chris Paul. He's way too smart for that.
So I want to get into your I have thoughts on this, but I really want to get to your thoughts. I think the number one disappointing thing when it came to this game was the starters. I think that's the number one key talking point, asterisk, whatever you want to say, and the starters not gelling and not playing well together. All of them had a negative rating, a plus minus, but I've learned stats don't matter. We'll get into that too.
Right.
They all have negative ratings. They didn't get the lead in the first quarter again. Then they blew some of it in the second quarter to a point, and then it was all gone, and then they lost the game and couldn't win it. So what are your thoughts on the starters and how this is being played out?
I don't understand it. The pieces all fit. You have a 1 that's a pass first team orchestrator. You have 2 catch and shoot killers in Mikal and Jay, and you have a versatile big who is supposed to be pick and roll, a dream scenario pick and roll player, but he's not. The pick and roll is essentially not there. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, you're right.
If you notice in the first, I think it was the first quarter, there was finally an opportunity where it looked like the pick and roll worked, and Ayton's man bit, and Chris Paul's man bit. Both of them bid on Chris Paul. And it's like my jaw dropped, and I thought, here it is. This is the first time I can remember. I knew it. It's like when you're playing 2K and you see the opportunity for an oop because the big man's guy double teams you. So it's like, okay, well then there you go. I saw it happening. I thought, here comes the oop and here comes the slam. The oop comes, and Ayton not only whiffs it, looks like he would have tripped over a phone book if he was trying to jump over it. And just it's like he didn't want it at all.
There it is.
Right? Yeah, he had 100%. He had no interest in that alley-oop. And I'm just thinking, if I am sitting on my couch and I can see that the alley-oop is available, you who can feel your person leave you, you have to be ready for it. Of course, Chris Paul is going to know it, but Ayton has to know it's coming. He did get a tip-in dunk, right?
He got 2 dunks tonight. He got 2 dunks. What's up?
Okay, was that second one a dunk?
Absolutely, unequivocally.
Are you talking about that little? Maybe we're not talking about the same one, because there was one where it looked like he just kind of literally, like, the rim is here and he just put it over and just let go of it. And
good enough for me.
Okay, you still counted a dunk.
Okay. DeAndre Ayton's on a different slide when it comes to dunks now. We gotta turn down his dunk rating on 2K.
Yeah, because I think he was our second best starter tonight. He didn't have a bad game, but the offense isn't serving him at all.
Oh, well, if anybody listens back on any recent podcast, I've said the issue with the pick and roll. Teams are laying off Chris Paul just enough, and they're hedging just enough. They're not overly committing. They're even hanging back on DeAndre Ayton, and the help defense after them, help the helper, the help defense has been there all season long. They're not letting it going, not letting the pick and roll get going. But the real issue is DeAndre Ayton, and you said it. He didn't want that alley-oop. DeAndre Ayton does not roll with a purpose. How many times have I said that? He does not roll with a purpose. He does not get into the passing lane to where a clear pass can be made, right? He is not doing that consistently. And then when he gets the ball underneath, he doesn't know what to do with it. And you saw it tonight when he got the ball in the high post against that zone. He was shocked that it was wide open. It's like, that's the whole key to get in there. So you do have that 2-on-1 matchup exposed. So you can either go strong to the hole or you dish it off. And I thought he was going to go straight to the hole and just like jam on him. Because if that was Amari there or any other 7-footer, they would have gone up and just tried to crush that person and get the and one. He does not roll with a purpose and does not want it. He's not a dog with a W. He is not a dog out there. He is a finesse player, and that's not his game, and we are forcing passes to him. And that's part of the reason why the offensive unit hasn't gotten clicking in the first few minutes too. They're focusing too much on getting him the ball, and they can't. I think it accounted for 2 to 4 turnovers just in the first 6 to 8 minutes tonight.
So one other thing I wanted to talk about, I am trying to pull up 8 and 30 points versus the Mavs. I want to talk about Devin Booker's turnovers, because it's something that Salty has been really harping on, but it just didn't feel that bad the first 8 games. Like, I know
we were winning.
Yeah, and it was because we were winning. But even before this game felt like it was going to be a loss, do you feel like he looked pretty lackadaisical with the ball? I mean, he was turning the ball over within milliseconds of touching it. He'd touch the ball and then whoops, lost it, and it goes to someone else. And he didn't even look mad that he was turning the ball over. He was sloppy with the ball tonight.
100%. So that last turnover on him, I thought it was in OT. It could have been fourth quarter. I'm not sure. And he's going into the player, and they called an offensive foul on Devin Booker, and therefore it's a turnover. That was not a foul on Devin Booker. So in my mind, he should have only gotten 4. As far as what you were saying, when it comes to him and his mindset of the game tonight, he looked like he was going to be a killer in the first quarter. It looked like dude was about to go off for 60, man. I thought he was gonna blow up, and then Langston Galloway gets hot, and so he doesn't come in until 5 minutes left in the second quarter, and then that's when everything just started going to shit. and he needs to be more consistent. This was my third point of the game. We're missing the second one, but this was my third point is Devin Booker needs to become more consistent all the way around. Look at his shooting percentages and look at his turnovers. He just needs to be consistent.
This year, he's been more consistent. It's not like, oh, the next step in his progression is getting – no! Go back to where you were last year. Be that guy. Be that consistent. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for you to get better. I'm looking for you to go back to who you used to be. I feel like that's more reasonable.
January 28, 2020.
Same thing with DeAndre Ayton. I'm asking DeAndre Ayton to go back to who you used to be, which I'm assuming was this guy. Let's take a look at this game, courtesy of Kiz. Shout out.
Kelly Oubre.
No problem dunking on you, little man.
Where has that? What? That is nowhere to be found in these first 9 games, which
yeah. Plenty of opportunities for it.
Come on, man. Why can't you do that right now? Come on.
Gets us in the paint. That's still there. And Kiz is saying they're not giving him enough touches. I'm fine if that's the type of touch. Throw this man the ball.
There, he gets in the right position there, and
Throw
he goes
him the ball
with it. He's not
let
doing
him do
that.
his little shots and hooks and stuff. That's fine with me.
That looks like confidence right here, what he's doing. Look how confident he looks in this. Boom, right away. He makes the decision right away. He's not doing that. He just goes. He's for a second.
Right.
Yeah.
You're right. He's playing a lot faster in
He still fades away on that hook, but I think that
but he's so talented it doesn't matter. So that's why I don't get mad about it.
Look at him stall on the roll there. He stalled on the roll to wait to get open. He's not doing those things to get open. Was it something Ricky Rubio was doing? It's not the passing. Like
that move right there, that hop step spin to the backboard.
Yeah.
That has not been happening this year. He's been doing stuff like that, and I love it. Do more. That's my thing with him. I need him to be getting more shots.
Oh, that is, yeah.
I thought he was going to hang up there and dunk that. But that's quick play against Porzingis, man. Somebody a few inches taller.
That's been there.
He looks immediately to shoot. He looked to score
immediately too.
Great pass. I'm sure
haven't seen any of those. Yeah. Oh, Mikhail, he hurt me tonight. I don't know, man. It could have been the way Ricky Rubio was doing it versus
a layup this year. You're right. Maybe he just had that much better chemistry with Rubes. I mean, where the fuck has that been?
This was after his PEDs too. So like he's clearly clean. I mean, he does look a little bit bigger there. I mean, for what that's worth. Man, Kiz, you right.
I mean, so Kiz is saying, Ayton looks like a different player this year. Probably, it could definitely have something to do with the fact that he's focusing more on defense.
Yeah, I completely agree.
His defense is great.
Not elite. People are saying he's elite. Let's
so much better than he was. Remember, he was considered a defensive liability. The only questions on him coming out of the draft was, is he going to be able to develop as a defender?
Real quick, I said, and you can go back and read my past tweets, I said that is not a problem with DeAndre Ayton. Look at these ABC clips when he was in college. I said that from the beginning. Like, he is going to be a damn good defender because he's got quick feet, he's got long arms, and he can stay with guards. It's exactly what he is. Now I
think it was a question of want to with him. There was always that question. What's going on, Salty? There was always that question of want to with him at Arizona. And so with defense, I feel like the question was, is he going to have the want to be a defender in the NBA?
Yeah, he's got it.
And he does. And that's great. But do you have to now be soft on offense because of it? And if you are going to be soft on offense, can they at least give you the ball enough so that you can shoot enough of your middies and maybe take a couple of threes. So if you're going to be soft, you're going to be a shooter. You're going to be LaMarcus Aldridge. That's fine. Can you shoot as many shots as them, please?
And be consistent.
Yeah, but but the first step in being consistent is actually taking the shots, man. The first step in him becoming a better 3-point shooter is going to be taking those, feeling what it feels like to take a 3-pointer in the heat of the moment in an NBA game with the eyes watching you and your coach watching you. That's the only time taking a 3 matters, is when you're doing it in a game, because your brain is doing different things. The only way he's going to get more consistent is more reps, not in practice, in the game.
Well, his shooting percentage is actually up this year.
It's pretty good. That's why I'm no problem seeing him take 10 more shots per game. Absolutely. And if they're mid-range shots and if they're his little hooks, I'm fine with it.
But he's not getting in position for the passers to give into it. He's not giving them a big, wide position to make a good pass into it, and that's his whole problem. If you can't even get position, I don't even know you can't even do the first step of it. And then when he is getting it, he's looking like it's a deer in headlights right now. What happened? Where was that? Like, everything that we just saw, he's looking like a deer in headlights, and he can't get position.
Is it possible?
When you can't get position, it's not is it Ricky Rubio thing, by the way?
Is it possible that he didn't take this COVID time where, okay, in the bubble, Chris Middleton for the Bucks comes out and is a little bit, chastised for saying, I haven't touched a ball since COVID. Like when the bubble came and was ready and they were ready to play, he's like, I haven't touched a ball. And Giannis is like, yeah, I haven't really been playing any basketball either. Is it possible that Ayton has taken this time where you weren't really allowed to have – your coaches aren't on top of you, forcing you to do the work? Is it possible that someone like Ayton, who we've talked about as just being a little bit more immature, you can see it in the things he says and the way he acts off the court. He's immature. He's a big kid, and that's fine. That's fine. But is it possible that that big kid – wasn't taking his off-season program very seriously the way a professional would?
I mean,
the way with Kobe and Shaq. Kobe's biggest problem with Shaq was you don't take your craft seriously. If I had your body with my force of will, you know what I would do with your body, Shaq? That was the resentment between Shaq and Kobe. I know Book was putting in the work because we saw – what was that video we saw on draft night, Coach?
Which one?
The video of Chris Paul and Devin Booker shooting together during the draft. Where was DeAndre Ayton? You're telling me he doesn't have the money to be there? Are you telling me that they don't want him there? You're telling me he couldn't have gotten there? You just got Chris Paul. And I guarantee you he's just thinking, yeah, well, that's going to solve everything. I don't need to really even work that hard anymore. I got Chris Paul. Something along those lines. Must say that was Book's only practice video.
Clapping.
Yeah, he is busy with that, isn't he? I really do think that the Kardashian curse.
No.
It's possible.
No.
It's possible, man. He's not the same player this year yet. 9 games in.
So Book's thing, you're right. He just needs to be more consistent, and that's what we asked from him. Yeah, her shooting percentages are up, but I'm not saying that he's a better player this year. There's clearly something going on with Chris Paul and the chemistry. There's clearly something going on to Ayton right now. And these things need to be fixed. They are now costing us games. Ayton in the offseason, to answer your original question, we don't know what he was doing. We have no idea. And that could have been Booker's only workout for all we know, too. We have no idea. The fact of the matter is they are professional athletes getting paid millions of dollars to perfect and hone their craft. And if these players are not doing it in their off time, granted it's COVID, then that's a big problem on them.
Hey, and we're still really good. It's obvious some of these players have been slacking, but we're still really good.
Yeah.
Imagine if they were putting in the full maximum effort. Are we much more than 6-3? Probably not. We could have dropped.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think Book's ever looked this bad to start a season. The season coming off, I think it was his second season when he scored 70 points. That next season, they
were double teaming the hell. They were
he pushed it hard, and he was just garbage for like 2 or 3 months. I think the first 2 months, for sure.
The same way teams have realized, okay, when Ayton rolls to the basket, don't ever leave him. Don't ever leave him, and there's no chance they'll pass it into him. They figured that out about Ayton this year. The year you're talking about, Book comes back after scoring 70, they had figured, okay, they've got Tyler Ulis. So everyone double/triple team Book and don't let him go off for 70, and we win. And that was it. And so they're kind of figuring out Ayton this year. But yeah, he did have that. He did have a bad beginning of the season. I remember that.
To get to my third point here, which is, again, mostly about the starters, but it has to do with Chris Paul specifically. First point being him having 11 points tonight is unacceptable for his level and caliber of player. I would have expected at least 15 to 19. But Chris Paul needs to balance how he's running the floor with this team. He needs to balance going a little bit faster, the way that Book likes to play, way I think Mikhail and all these young guys like to, way Ayton can run the floor. I think he needs to speed that up and balance it to where Chris Paul's game is more slow, methodical, run the pick and roll 3 or 4 times up top before you find an opening and go. He's very smart. He's very wise. And I just don't know if our team is quite to his level yet. So maybe Chris Paul needs to go a little bit faster for them so they think less.
I would like that. This was just one of those games, though, where the shots weren't falling. It doesn't feel like that because the shots were super falling in the beginning, but then they completely fell off of a cliff because of the 2-3 zone and 1-3. Was it 1-3-1 you were seeing?
1-2-2.
1-2-2. So
which is kind of like a 3-2, but it's
like a box and one.
It schemes just a little bit different up top mostly.
So I hate saying our offense isn't this, it isn't that, on just because we lost. I mean, 105 points the way we've been playing defense, that's enough to put a team away. Okay, and definitely enough to put the Pistons away.
And look, that's the thing, is that we're right there. We're right there. But for every game that goes on and it still doesn't mesh, we start getting farther away too. I mean, yeah, it's only our 9th season, but we're already 12.5% away through this season. By the time Monday hits, which is 3 days away, and we have 2 games in the next 3 days, tomorrow off of a back-to-back, all of a sudden we're going to be more than 15% through the season.
Yeah.
And you're right, we're right there, but it's not happening. We're not even seeing glimpses, bro. We're not even like, boom, oh, see, that's what we want right there. Oh, like, you know what I mean? It's just slow and methodical, and like once or twice Crowder will hit an open 3 because Mikhail ain't hitting them right now.
Yeah. Kids is saying we need to switch up our offensive schemes every game. We try to do the same shit if you look closely. Yeah.
That's the point. That's the offense. That's the 0.5 offense. It's just playing basketball. There isn't even specific plays, and the Suns have even said that. They specifically said we don't actually draw up a lot of plays. We just play basketball. That's what we do. Yeah, that's what they do. They run pick and roll. They penetrate and pop, and they I can't even think of the word right now. Is what I'm trying to say. But they're just playing basketball to that level.
It's not really working.
No, not now.
Until the backups come in and they get to beat the hell out of the other team's shitty backups. I mean, those backups on the Pistons, bro. Come on,
dude. Our bench would beat the starters right now.
Do you really think that? Like, if
do you really think that they're playing that good that they could beat anybody if it was just them the whole game?
I would pay to see
I'd love to see
I
that.
would
I'm sure,
pay to
and I'm
see
sure
that.
it happens in scrimmages. I'm sure it happens. But once Crowder went out, when Cam Johnson hit that three in the corner, and then he passed over to Cam Johnson for that dunk or whatever, it's just maybe Cam needs to be inserted. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if it's Crowder. I don't know if it's Paul. I don't know if it's everybody still meshing. It's just crazy. Yeah,
Paul's
because
not
I
scoring
think
enough.
if we would have just made our free throws, we would have won the game. Yeah, free throws win games.
Our free throws still suck. You're right, Kiz. I saw Devin Booker step up and miss 2. And I saw
And DeAndre Ayton missed 2.
he missed 2 in a row, or just missed that.
No, he missed 2 in a row. He should have gone up for the dunk, but he didn't, and he got fouled and missed 2 free throws.
Also, I watched Mikal Bridges step up and miss 2 in a row.
His shot's off right now.
So we don't have to go to overtime if those 5 free throws we just talked about.
We were the best free throw shooting team last year.
Guys aren't practicing, man. They're not practicing their shots. They're not. I don't know what to tell you.
I want to know how different this is with COVID. Like, what are they doing different with COVID? They have their own facility now. But
free throws must be the one of the things. They've definitely had to cut their activities back. They don't get as much opportunities to practice. It seems like free throws are one of the things that.
But everybody is in that position then in the whole NBA. And this is the thing with the COVID year, you take it for a grain of salt, because how many I think it's the Nets players were out with COVID and contact tracing. The Rockets players at the beginning of the season had to cancel games, and then they're piecing together lineups. Maybe this is just part of the COVID season where this is going to happen. We've already seen crazy ass games, and we're like, that team shouldn't beat that team right now, right? The Clippers losing by 50. We've already seen these weird things. Are these things going to be the norm? And so far it is looking like it. So maybe it is less on the players and more on COVID. But at the same time, with a Chris Paul and Devin Booker backcourt, I don't want to make excuses like that.
The reason why we're looking and searching for this shit, man, is because it was the goddamn Detroit Pistons.
1-7, by far the worst team. My lowest
in the least, going up against, we just finally got to put on our hats of being proud, our arrogant hats of being number 1 in the West. And we go in and do something as stupid as losing to the worst team in the East. How? That's why I said we overlooked them, bro. We're thinking, wow, we're the number one team in the West. There ain't no way we're losing to this team in the East. Let's just go down there, smack them around a little bit, and get out of there. Get some Detroit pizza, which is good, by the way. I don't know if I'm sure you've had Detroit pizza. Love that style. I digress.
You're not wrong, and that is the problem that I have. It was a can't lose game versus the absolute worst team, and you were up 23. And if you want to be a top 3 seed in the West, you do not lose games like this.
Speaking of can't lose, how about a can't commit foul? The play where Devin Booker beats his man, gets in for that 2-handed dunk at the end of the game, right down the middle of the paint, and Ayton is like
offensive
right guard who just pulled and is lead blocking and throws him out of the.
When things are going wrong, things are going wrong.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
And
everything was going wrong.
And we're still 6-3, and I get it. But if we want to be a top 3 seed, you can't lose teams like this. And I know that you're a Bears and Huskers fan and whatnot. But speaking from a Arizona Valley sports fan, Cardinals, D-backs, Coyotes, Arizona State, fuck Arizona. When you're talking about those teams and what we've been through, we have one title in 2001. We have one title. And when we get a team going, we are going to be arrogant as all hell, man. Let me tell you, we're going to be arrogant because we deserve that team. We want that one team. I'm sick of losing. I'm sick of making excuses. I want a winning team. And so that's why losses like these are frustrating because
we deserve a winning team.
Absolutely.
We deserve a winning team.
Yes, because we need to see Book post up more. Where has that been? I haven't seen that much. Book posting up is a boss.
We need to see him posting up, and we need to see DeAndre posting up more. DeAndre just turns and hits his little jumper at honestly like a 60, maybe 70% clip. Let him do it.
We're fine with that. We've said that.
And let Book post up. You're right, man.
But it goes back to what you were saying the last podcast, man. If you're gonna be a finesse big man, like somebody made on the comments, they said more like a Marc Gasol. Like I see more of that too. Not as big and husky of him, but if you're gonna be a finesse player, quit trying to force the damn ball to him in these lobs and in these weird post up situations. Quit doing it if that's what you're gonna be.
Man, obviously just a shitty night, you know. You never want to lose to a team that's that bad and that you know you should beat.
Amen. Do you have any more thoughts on this game? Because I think we've ranted everything out. You know,
I say we just put this game to bed and never talk about it again, man.
Ain't nothing you can do. So what I love doing, I love looking at what is the next game. I got ahead of myself. I told you I hate getting ahead and looking at the schedule down the road because it's always about the next game, period. I think this game totally proved that. So from now on, I will never look through the month and see where we're going and where we're ending, except for the last couple games of the season. I'm always interested to see if it's at home or away.
Right.
But with that said, all we are focused on now is beating the Indiana Pacers tomorrow. If we come out and we win this game, okay, if we blow them out, we're not even going to think about this game. Oh, they weren't prepared, yada, yada, yada. If they win close, what a great win on the road. What a comeback. If they lose this game, oh no, if we get blown out, this can get ugly. So tomorrow, I think, is a really huge game, especially for the psyche and then going to Washington. But playing against the Pacers, here is my concern, man. Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis. Miles Turner averaging 17.7 points. Domantas Sabonis averaging 20.9. Sabonis is averaging 11.4 rebounds. Miles Turner only 5.5, but we know he's capable of 10 and 12. And he always gets his 4.1 block shots per game. I am afraid of this matchup down low for the Phoenix Suns tomorrow. I am. And if Mikal still has his hitch, I'm really worried about this game tomorrow.
You're hoping he's got that hitch in his shot ironed out?
I mean, I'm curious to see who he's going to guard tomorrow. Let me look at their depth chart. With TJ Warren out, they're starting Victor Oladipo, Aaron Holiday, and Malcolm Brogdon. So I would bet you that he would guard Malcolm Brogdon because he's the bigger one of all of them, and he's their best point guard or best ball handler. So I'm sure he's going to guard him, which means Aaron Holiday and Victor Oladipo might be able to feast on whoever Devin Booker's guarding, which Book's on-ball defense has been better. His off-ball is a completely different conversation.
I'm going to go ahead and predict we get a win tomorrow for one reason. This team is going to be mad tomorrow. They're going to be really frustrated. They got embarrassed. And I like the Suns on a game after they've been embarrassed.
Never underestimate that. You could very, very well be right. You really could. They could come out and they could just have that fight, but I expected to see that in the third quarter coming out. How did they blew some of the lead? I expected to see that. I am not sold on it. I'm going to predict it's going to be a loss tomorrow, and I think it might be anywhere in the 11 to 15, 16 range. I think that's what it could be. I hope I'm wrong. Please, Lord, let me be wrong. I love being proved wrong. There's nothing better. Let me tell you, there's nothing better.
I got us bouncing back, and then let's take a look. What's the game after that?
We're not looking, but it's Washington on Monday at Washington.
Yeah.
And Pacers are not coming off of a back-to-back road trip.
I just don't see us losing many back-to-back games, and I think they're gonna have to. Yeah, Kiss, exactly, bro. Got too cocky, Didn't expect the Pistons to put up that kind of a fight. It's like a Buster Douglas situation, man. Mike Tyson went into that fight. Buster Douglas had just lost. I think it was his brother or his mom or somebody real close to him. And Tyson says he didn't even really train for that fight. He had stuff going on in his life. He wasn't worried about Buster Douglas. Same thing with his sons. We weren't worried. Them losing somebody was them being embarrassed by being down 1-7 and having a chance to show everybody, hey, we're not that bad. Look what we did to the number one West seed. Man, that still feels weird to be able to say that. Hopefully we can continue to say that.
Well, I mean, didn't the Lakers just lose to the Grizzlies the other night? Was it last night?
It did, but they're playing. They're playing.
No. They lost to the Spurs. That's who it was.
They're playing right now, though, aren't they?
Ever since we lost, I stopped looking because I was pissed. Clippers are losing to the Warriors with 3:45 left, only by 3 though. And the Lakers are only beating the Bulls by 7 with 2 minutes to go.
They're playing the Bulls.
Yeah, Celtics beat the Wizards. Thunder beat the Knicks. The Knicks were rolling for a minute there. The Hornets, the Ball brothers going at it. Hornets beat the Pelicans. Rockets came out and scorched the Magic. See, the Magic were 6-2. They play the Rockets and they lose by 42.
Goodness gracious.
I thought the Magic were going to be really good. I thought they were turning everything around, and they just got scorched tonight. So, yeah, maybe I need to for it.
Kids, Warriors are up 3 points on the Clippers.
Grizzlies beat the Nets. That's shocking. Jazz beat the Bucks after the Jazz have looked really garbagey, and the Raptors got their second win over the damn Kings. Raptors got 144 points tonight. So
144.
So weird things happening in the league. It really is happening all over the league, right?
Man.
Yeah, we know Magic lost Fultz, but I didn't think it would be a 40-point blowout type of loss.
Yeah, they must just feel like they don't have it anymore. Oklahoma City beating the Knicks. That is interesting because the Knicks are playing extremely well for Tom Thibodeau.
Yep, and they just got spanked by the Thunder not spanked, but they lost by 12. I didn't think the Thunder are that good.
Pray to God these Bulls beat the Lakers for
no way. 112 to 114 now. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's been close. Bron 0 for 4 from 3. Front running with 26 points. Okay,
so we see these scores, and I'm rescinding and rethinking a lot of my views on WTF with the Suns, right? So I get it. I understand. I don't like it. I think it's an excuse, but I'm seeing it. The proof is in the pudding. So let me pose this question to you. If we lose tomorrow and we look just as bad with the starters, what are we going to then? What are you going to say then? Excuse me.
Then I would say change up the starting lineup a little bit. I'm not saying bring Mikal. Mikal's solidified. My one change up to the lineup would be Cam or Dario. A little bit more size, especially against Sabonis and
Miles Turner.
Old boy Miles Turner. I'm bringing in someone a little bit bigger, and I'm maybe looking to start playing Jalen Smith a little bit. Now, I'm not saying Jalen Smith is going to come in and save anything, but he is a good rebounder. He can finish around the rim. He can shoot. At some point, when are we going to see him? I just feel like we need more height, man. See, I agree, because it's like I do think Cam earned that starting position. Now Crowder is playing off the chain, and we're paying him more. I get that. But it's like I feel like Crowder can come off the bench as a 6-man, play just as much minutes as a starter would, and still be professional and give us those threes off the bench and just be like that veteran off the bench. Because who's our vet off the bench?
Dario.
Yeah.
I want Dario to stay exactly where we are because we need him for when fouling goes down at one of those two positions, he needs to come up. Yes, I forgot that Sticks was out tomorrow. I did see that. I totally forgot about that.
Why are they pulling him back out?
Contact tracing, wasn't it?
Great.
Yeah,
Bulls.
so I mean that might it might be a week or 10 days until we see him again. But I think Cam Johnson needs to. We just looked more athletic with him out there, and I think when
I'm
you bring
about
in
preserving
Crowder off,
the bubble. I want the bubble Suns
yes,
with Chris Paul because that's magic.
When that happened, when Crowder started, I was like, okay, you're the coach. We'll see. You should know best, but I disagree. Like, I want to get these young guys more playing time, more experience. I want Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson to play together for the next 12 to 15 years, man.
Because I'm just saying, like, if we had to change something up,
this is
what do you
if
change? Because you don't pull Book, you don't pull Chris Paul, you don't pull Ayton, and Mikhail's been fantastic all but 2 games this year?
right.
Now he's saying if we lose tomorrow night.
And we're showing the same exact nothing that we're getting from our starters. As if it's the same energy, same everything.
Down 1 Lakers. Sorry, down 1 Bulls. Come on now, Chicago.
You never know, man.
Let's get this. Let's get Zach LaVine to the free throw line. They probably wouldn't give him a call even if LeBron stabbed him on the way. They don't want the Lakers to lose.
All right, man. Let's close it out here.
Yeah.
We got the Pacers tomorrow at 5:00. I love the 5:00 start times for me, by the way. It really helps me out. I love that, not having to wait all night. But 5:00, the Pacers, not a must-win game, not a can't-lose game either, but it's definitely a game where we need to see some bounce back and some heart.
Completely agree, man. Let's get this dub tomorrow, get this L washed out of our mouths, and I'll see you then, brother. Let's go, Suns fans.